Welcome to Muddy River News This Week, furnished by Harvey's. I'm Bob Goff. Suicide is a very difficult subject for people to really talk about, but it's something that should be talked about and how we can prevent it. Suicide Prevention Week is coming up. The awareness of that issue is important, and we're talking to a couple of people here who will help us get the word out, and we'll be raising money for this very serious issue. Barb Baker Chapin is with Transitions, and Dawn Whitcomb is with the Illinois Veterans Home, but she's here with us in a different capacity today. But the Suicide Prevention Coalition is getting ready to have its annual event, and Barb, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Okay. We will be having an English garden party on Saturday evening, September 11th. It'll be from 4 to 7 in the evening. And this event will raise funds that will support the efforts of the Adams County Suicide Prevention Coalition. It'll be an outdoor event. Social distancing will be provided, and it should be a very nice evening in a beautiful location. It'll be at the Gas Lamp Inn and Eatery, which is at 1477 Main Street. So we hope that people will join us that evening. There will be a lot of neat activities. We'll have music, and we'll have a silent auction, and I'll let Dawn talk about the silent auction packages, because we have some really, really nice silent auction packages. And we'll have a short program, and a variety of heavy hors d'oeuvres and adult beverages. And
it's from 4 to 7 p.m. And Dawn, talk a little bit about the silent auction items.
Yeah, so the great thing is, because it is from 4 to 7 p.m., we felt that people could come and go as they wanted. It's not a sit-down meal by any means. So with the silent auction packages, I think we've got about 10 to 12, I believe. Mm-hmm. One nice one is a donation from Dr. Anthony and Jill Wollaston, which is a week stay in their cottage in Punta Gorda, Florida. And with that package, Duker and Hawk graciously donated us $500 in Visa cards, so they could apply that to maybe a flight down to Fort Myers. We also have a wonderful basket with Dom Perignon, 2 Waterford crystals donated by Sturhans, crystal goblets, or wine, or champagne flutes, all kinds of goodies in that package. We've got a pool package, pool items, opening and closing of a pool. We've got 2 VIP tailgate party at the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't know who they play. I think the Buffalo Bills.
I think it's, yeah,
Buffalo Bills,
I think so,
along with 2 tickets to the Kansas City Chiefs game. So those are some really
good stuff.
Yeah, good stuff.
And also, I know we love our friends at Quincy Regional Airport. I believe at Springfield you can still go direct to Punta Gorda, I think.
Correct.
Yes, you can.
So that's the easy way to do it. If you want to go Quincy to St. Louis, you can do that. But I'm just saying, Springfield's pretty easy, because I've taken that trip a couple of times. So, a little bit more, Barb. Just how did the Adams County Suicide Prevention Coalition come to exist?
Well, back in 2012, the U.S. Surgeon General issued a call to communities to address the problem of suicide, because the rate of suicide among Americans was increasing. So Chuck Johnson at Blessing Hospital and I put our heads together and decided that, they provide many services, mental health services, and of course Transitions provides mental health services, that we should come together and we should try to address the issue of suicide in our area. So we actually started in 2012, and we tried to provide training in terms of suicide prevention to area groups and students, educators, clergy, health providers. So we did all of that, and then in 2016 the group really expanded. At that time, I think we lost 4 area young people to suicide, and the community became very aware that we have a problem, and we need to address it. So at that time, a lot of schools and other social service agencies, and then people who just had an interest in providing assistance to the coalition because they had experienced the loss of a loved one to suicide, joined us. And so we have continued to operate with that group of partners to address the problem of suicide in our area.
And Dawn, you have a very personal reason for being involved in this as well.
I do. I lost my son on November 6th of 2015 to suicide. So I actually became involved with the coalition maybe about 8 or 10 months after his death, and just wanted to find a purpose out of his death. And so that's why I joined the coalition to, help those, if I could provide information to somebody to help prevent another tragic death by suicide.
And I think the people who, when you're affected by that, I think you don't want anyone else to feel that way. So you bring this, and you are very, very open, and I think it's very remarkable that you share your story about Dylan the way you do, because again, you don't want another parent to have to go through that.
Exactly.
And Barb, I think it's great that you have those resources like Dawn, Charles, and all the folks who can talk about that, because I think the other thing is that when we're dealing with this issue, it's a matter of watching the signs. I mean, I know there's many cases where it's out of the blue, but there are also plenty of signs too, correct?
Mm-hmm. There are signs. Suicide is a difficult issue, because for many people there are some signs, and for many people the decision to end their life is a result of loss and depression. But then we also see that there are people who suffer some kind of trauma, and it could be social embarrassment, it could be the loss of a boyfriend or a girlfriend, it could be a huge financial loss, some huge event in their life that absolutely overwhelms them, and they don't know how they can go on and make the decision at that time to end their life. So it isn't something that they really considered for some time, or it isn't something that people might be able to notice signs of. It may be a very quick decision on their part. But for many people, as I said, loss is one of the triggers, and what we find oftentimes is that people will experience a number of losses. They may lose financial security, they may lose a job, they may lose a spouse, they may lose their physical health, they may lose esteem in the community, in any of these things. And it's usually a series of those kinds of losses that result in a person feeling helpless, feeling hopeless, and feeling depressed, and feeling like life isn't going to be any better.
And I know, Dawn, it's a lot of people, when they'll write off a situation like, I just had a bad day. But at some point, a person can get to a point where there's a heck of a lot of bad days in a row. Mm-hmm. And, people need to really be willing to reach out, and I think the admirable thing about what you guys are doing is the fact that they're trying to erase that stigma. And if you're having a problem, or talk to somebody. I think that's what you're trying to do, right?
Absolutely. Just not reach out to those people that are having that bad day. Reach out to those people who are doing okay, because our tagline for our committee for the fundraisers is called Behind the Mask. And there's so many people that do hide behind the mask and don't share what's really going on. So really check on those people. Check on your friends. Just ask them, are you doing okay?
And I think that kind of outreach, I know with, whether it's, the loss, we've all experienced it, but, if you lose a family member, even if it's not through suicide, it's some sort of accident, but then again, it can begin to trigger something in your own life, and it's especially if you've lost a job, and then you perhaps have a sibling die or something like that. Those kinds of things can also spiral, and I think when you're sitting there and and if you're on your couch and it's like, whether you're going to grab a drink or grab your Bible or grab whatever, you need to grab, but try to stay away from the drink, but you need to really try to sit there and say, okay, I can't just sit here by myself. I've got to talk to somebody. Mm-hmm. And it's just having that support system, and having, just if you're not married, or if your kids are away or whatever, just having that contact. And I think with COVID, I think COVID might have it might have exacerbated this to a lot, because we spent a lot of the last year kind of just sitting in our houses, so, and not having that human contact. But that human contact's just got to be really crucial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we urge people, if they're struggling, to reach out for help. It can be reaching out to a friend or a trusted person. It can be reaching out to a clergy person, your primary health care provider. It can be reaching out to a mental health professional. And there are resources available, there is help available, there are crisis lines available, and you know, the situation a person is in is temporary. And the other thing that we emphasize in the coalition is that suicide is never the solution to a life problem. There are other solutions. And by reaching out to others, you can find some of those other solutions.
And Dawn, we have a pretty healthy professional network here in Quincy, don't we, to help people?
We do. We have multiple agencies here in town. Transitions is one, Cornerstone is another, Blessing, of course, is another avenue that people can seek out. And all levels of income. You know, you don't have to be somebody that has health insurance either. Transitions works with people who you know, have either low income or no income to provide that service. So even if you feel like, you know, oh, I don't think I can afford that, it is affordable here in Quincy.
Yeah, and again, and like I said, with health insurance, many providers, you know, it's part of your coverage. But and if not, like you said, there are plenty of other, you know, people who will offer that assistance, and that's truly admirable. So once again, the event's coming up on Saturday, September 11th, and it sounds like a great time. The Gas Lamp Inn and Eatery. I don't think they have a big flashing sign, but it's basically the old Titan House, right?
Correct.
So if you're on Main Street, Quincy, the big brown house across from the
Women's City
Club. Yeah, it's right there on the north side of the street, and I knew they had done this refurbishing, and I know they're doing their inn and eatery, as they call it. So, but it's a great place to have a kind of event, and for you guys to do this, I think it's. I hope you have a great turnout. We'll keep letting people know, and hopefully people watch this and will be able to make some time for this, and also make some time just to reach out to your loved ones as well during this time, because you should always do that, but every once in a while, just don't ever be afraid to pick up the phone, make that call, shoot that text, right?
And how do they get tickets?
How do they get tickets, Barb?
And I was going to add that we have tickets available, and people can get tickets. It's as easy as going to the Adams County Suicide Prevention website, and that is acsuicideprevention.org. And the tickets are $50 a person, and they can get their ticket right online.
And we will have a link to that on as a part of this story that we post when we post it
Awesome,
here pretty
thanks.
quickly.
Great.
So we'll do that. So thank you guys for taking the time to stop by. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that's all we have for Muddy River News this week, furnished by Harvey's. I'm Bob Goff. Have a great week.